Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day so far. I'm Phil, and in today's video we're going to check out the Wavemind Amp Suite Rev F. Let's roll that intro clip and then get straight into some thrash riffing. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in to this video. I really appreciate it. Now, the Wavemind Amp Suite Rev F. Basically, it's an amp suite which has everything which you need to sculpt your tone. So it already has the boost included, it already has the cabinet section included, the amplifier itself, and it's a faithful recreation of a Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier. And let me tell you this already straight off the bat, Wavemind did an amazing job in creating a budget-friendly, really good sounding amp sim plugin over here. Let me talk about first how they caught my attention. Now you might know Resington or Graham. His channel is absolutely great and he demos a lot of the more niche products and the smaller developers. He gives them a bigger platform than kind of jumping on all the hype trains, which I'm certainly guilty of. And yeah, he was raving about the company in general, you know, like he liked their freebie software. So they have like I think it's like 2 different drives, and the cab section, which is very similar to this cab section, they got for absolutely free. And this is basically their big product launch, their first paid product. And this is priced at 40 euros or $40, somewhere around that ballpark, and it's absolutely worth the money. It's a real alternative to the big players out there. Really sounds great. One thing which I want to disclaim is that I received a free copy of the plugin, not from Wavemind itself, but from a small project group which I'm part of, the Amp Sim Universe it's called, and Wavemind has ties to basically the people there and gave a few licenses for that project group, and I was lucky enough to get one of those licenses. So just that you know, however, no money has, you know, exchanged hands in that sense, and my opinion will be completely unbiased because I have no ties and no obligation to Wavemind or anything. But I can say this is a cool plugin. I really like it a lot, and it's a real alternative to the big players out there. Yeah, with that out of the way, let's dive into the graphical user interface. Let me go over here to the amplifier, and let me first set this to the factory default settings. I changed a little bit, we're gonna get there, and then you can hear how I'm gonna sculpt my tone from there onward. Now, in the center, we always have the piece of gear which we are editing, and we have these different blocks. We have different boosts, we have the amp, we have the cabinet, and then we have some post amp effects, and EQ, delay, and chorus. I think this is fairly standard nowadays with amp sims, especially with amp sim suites, which have everything included. So I think there's nothing special about that. We got the input and the output, and then we have a gate over here, which is set pretty harsh at 50 dB. I like to take that a little bit down. And this is a really cool feature. This is the low end compression. You might have heard of the multi-band compressor trick, which allows you to tame the chugs and the palm mutes, that they kind of fit better into the mix and they're not woofing out. This does that actually with a 1 knob solution, which is really cool. I really dig this a lot, and it really works wonders. You're gonna hear that in a moment. What's cool about the amplifier is that you have a backside, so that way you have a ton of few different options, like changing the tubes, setting up the diode rectifier, choosing the power select, all of those stuff which you would normally expect from a dual rectifier plugin. Okay, I think we have this base covered. Let me talk about the signal chain. I have this Fenix Superstrat over here, which has a Seymour Duncan SH-5 in the bridge that goes into my Audient ID44 interface, which has the interface gain set to absolute 0, leaving a headroom of plus 10 dBu. There's a lot of discussion right now that this is a very important factor, and I totally agree, so that you know what you're kind of getting over here. And the input, as you can see, is set to 0 dB on the interface. This is what the plugin sounds straight out of the box with the default factory settings. Now, to be honest, when I first plugged this in and I was playing this, I was pretty disappointed, because I do understand that dual rectifiers are very boomy amps. However, I always strive for a very tight percussive thrash tone, and I know that when you are boosting a rectifier, you're definitely getting there. However, I was then kind of playing a little bit around, and fairly quick I already got a pretty good sound. Let me first take you to the boost section over here where we got these two boosts, and my first go was with the 1433 plugin, I would say. That already substantially tightens the low end and gives me that thrash crack, I would say. So I was pretty satisfied. I was pretty surprised that the boost is doing such a big difference, but I know that rectifier amplifiers, like dual or triple rectifiers, they need a boost in front in order to work for this kind of music. Gives you a really nice clank and a really nice crack. I really like the sound already a lot. Now, however, I'm a sucker for tube screamer related or based circuits. So what I did is that I tried the X drive, so I was really curious because this looks a lot like the Maxon OD 808X, which I have actually over here, and I really dig that one. So I just dialed it in, and this is what it sounds like. And I already again got this boominess, which I was quite unsatisfied. So move the tone knob up. That's already getting a little bit better, but we're not there yet. And here comes this low end compression thing in handy. I'm just gonna crank it up and see how the palm, or listen to rather, how the palm mutes are kind of tightening up. Now you could argue that I'm thinning out the sound, but that's exactly what I want to do. You know, when you are placing this sound into a mix, then the boomy low end is actually killing your mix, because it's kind of competing against the bass. So you could tame that a little bit back, take that a little bit back. Sorry that I'm always playing the same riff, but I'm doing that so that you get the right reference. Okay, with that out of the way, let me first go here to the twice oversampling. Yeah, this is already a usable tone, like video done, okay, we're done over here, but that's not it yet. So when I go into the amplifier, I like to dial in a little bit stuff over here on the amplifier. When it comes to Mesa Boogies, they're pretty tricky to dial in my personal experience. So what I like to do is to crank the presence, I like to crank the mids, and take back the treble quite drastically. But then I'm getting a little bit more of that boominess, so maybe I'm gonna switch the boost. I think with this particular setting and this plugin, that the 1433 wins the game. So I think it's the better boost, more suitable for what I want to do. Then, yeah, what else do we have? Let me set the orange channel pretty similar, just that we have a reference. The orange channel has a little bit more of a denser sound to it, but it's not as gnarly. I like the red a little bit more because it kind of, it scratches better through. It's hard to explain. So you get a nice attack and a nice clank over there. A little bit in the style of Exodus, what I just played. Yeah, okay, moving onward. When looking at the back, we have these knobs over here. I could not hear what they're actually doing. And I don't know if they actually do anything at all. Let's try it out. Let's put it to 1. I'm not sure if there's a placebo effect like in the upper mids or something going on. Yeah, whatever. I would just leave it to, to 5. And same with the slave level. I have the feeling that there's a slight change in the mids, ever so slightly, but let's leave it at the default settings and not bother too much with it. Over here we got the diode rectifier that does a difference. The tube rectifier is way looser in, from, it's not that tight, but I really prefer the silicon diodes. Alright, now what these both switches do is a little bit complicated. The orange channel gain is something which you can choose between the clean rhythm and the variable high gain, which is, let's switch over here to orange. This is the same switch, by the way, like this one over here. So if you set this to orange, then we can... It's also a really cool sound. I think this is the green channel, but I'm not sure about that, to be honest. So when I go over here, the clean is kind of activated and the orange as well. Let me go back over here. Now the clean is not activated. So it does a little bit of that one, but it does not really get clean at all. Like even if you take out the boost and crank down the gain, you're still left with some sort of crunchy sound, which is a little bit of a pity because I would like to have like a super pristine clean sound, but maybe that's how the Mizabuki Dual Rectifier really reacts. I don't know. I never owned one myself. I just played it in the music store. And this over here is a channel select style. To be honest, I have no clue what's going on over here. I know that there's this modern classic and vintage voicing on the Mizabuki Dual Rectifiers and the triple rectifiers, but I don't understand what's going here. So I'm going to leave that as normal. One thing to note, there's a free trial. I think it's going 14 days. You can download it on the Wavemind website. I'm going to link down below to it. So with that out of the way, this is kind of what the amp already sounds like. To me personally, it feels a lot like a one-trick pony, but it's doing that trick really good. And I know that my music, or the style of music which I'm playing, is fairly unusual for Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifiers. You would expect something down-tuned, new metal style, maybe like something like that. But it's not my style. I only can do thrash. I'm a one-trick pony in that respect. Moving onward, we got the cabinet section over here, which allows you to choose the Cab 412 OS with one microphone, I would assume an SM57, in both positions, or load your custom IR. Let's see what that sounds like right now. So you have a lot of flexibility in moving, you know, the microphone back and forth, and as well as moving it on the horizontal plane. To me personally, I don't dig the cab section that much. I don't know. It's not for me, kind of. I much more prefer to load my custom IRs, which I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to use the Pip Secret Sauce IR, which I'm going to also link down below in the description. It's a custom-made IR, which I created out of both the STL Tones Josh Middleton cabinet section, blended with my own Marshall IRs. So there's that. Yeah, and this is what it sounds like. And now, to me personally, I'm so used to the sound, so I might be biased, but now the amplifier really comes to life, and it doesn't have that boominess anymore, which I didn't like. So now we can actually go ahead and crank the bass. Now it's slowly getting to a perfect sweet spot. Maybe crank the gain a little bit more, just allow it a little bit more saturation. That sounds really good in my opinion. Now, in my previous test runs on this plugin, I took away the 100 Hertz frequency. But I think using the low end compression is way more efficient. So just that you know, right now the EQ is completely deactivated. And yeah, this is a really cool plugin. Let's try out the delay. There's like this strange chorus type vibe going on in the background, which can be annoying at times. but it's still a usable delay. So if you want to have like lead tones, then you would put it in the mix quite backwards anyway. And then it's not that apparent anymore. I really like the responsiveness of the plugin, you know, how it reacts when you are doing bends and this, you know, this lead stuff, legato stuff. Like, it's very natural and very responsive, but still retains the possibility to chuck straight away without having to adjust too much EQ stuff. If you want to really kind of sculpt the lead tone over here, then you would go maybe ahead, bump the mids a little bit, take a little bit out of the highs over here, maybe like so. Yeah, somewhere around that ballpark, you know. Bumping the mids up is always a good idea for the mids, and taming the high frequencies and the low frequencies. This also shows how strong the EQ actually is in this plugin. So let's go back to the delay on. And then last but not least, we got the chorus over here, which I know is way too strong because it's like super fast. So we have to put down the rate. We have to then maybe increase the depth a little bit. And then lower it in the mix. So, yeah, all in all, this is a really great plugin. Let's roll to the conclusion. Yeah, well, color me impressed. I really think that Wavemind have placed their stamp on the map. You know, they're like here to stay, and I really hope that they kind of move further on, innovate, maybe make other packs, maybe include, you know, make a big amp suite where you have all of the different options, similar to what, you know, AmpHub and all of the sorts are doing nowadays. Yeah, this is a great start. You know, this is the perfect start for a small developer. Congratulations to an awesome product. Awesome, affordable, and fairly accessible. And yeah, it's an iconic amplifier, which is modeling. So for everybody who's liking Mesa Boogie out there, I'm sure you can get both the thrashy stuff like I've done, but also the, let's say, more low-end heavy stuff. The more chuggy and more slow stuff. I think this will cover perfectly that base. And with that out of the way, thank you so much everybody for watching. If you liked what you see, go check out Wavemind. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Consider please subscribing and liking the video, maybe sharing it with your buddies. Yeah, thank you so much for watching everybody. I enjoyed this a lot. Go check out Wavemind. Awesome. Keep it metal.